3.2, which is over translations, okay? So if you look over at the sideboard here, SWBA, okay, students will be able to make translations on a graph, section 3.2, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. Kevin, stop reaching for chips, okay? If she wants to give you chips, she'll give you chips. If she doesn't, then she won't. Okay.
I hate that sound.
Sorry?
Stop.
Okay.
They do it to make me mad, Mr. Foster.
I will stop.
Everyone's a lunch people. That's all I do.
Okay. Anyway, you mean they're eating?
Yes, I hate
Translation. A translation, okay? It's to vertically and or horizontally slide a figure. So you take a figure and you move it either vertically or horizontally, okay? Show me with your hands which way is vertically. Awesome. Okay, show me with your hands which way is horizontally. Very good, okay? So sometimes we do one, the other, or sometimes both, okay? In symbolic form, do you guys remember the x, y yields thing, okay, we just did? We have x comma y yields, okay? And here we have x plus h, or excuse me, I shouldn't have put that parenthesis there, comma y plus k. Write that down for a second, and I'll explain it, okay? Hold your horses if you're confused. I know. You don't understand where the H and K came from. I haven't explained that yet.
Okay.
Give it 2 seconds and I'll explain, okay? Not literally 2 seconds, though.
1,
2.
You can't be mad. You're the one who started it.
I know. I can totally be mad. That just makes me a hypocrite.
Okay. All right, Rob. Okay.
Here you go. Okay. So you might be wondering, hey, where's H, where does the K come from, okay? H, it represents the horizontal shift. It represents a horizontal shift. So that just represents how much did we move left or right. So that's why it's with the X, right? Because X deals with horizontal, the left or right. So if X plus H, we're taking whatever the X was, and we are adding whatever, how much we're moving it. Okay? Yes. Okay. And then K then, what do we think K is going to represent?
The vertical.
The vertical shift, very good. K will represent the vertical shift, how much we're moving it up or down. That's why it's with the Y there.
Yeah, why isn't it an idea?
I actually don't know. I should look that up. Gonna write myself a note. K.
No drawing,
Did you
no
just
drawing.
say not to take notes on other people?
You did.
Yeah, I didn't take notes on someone else.
Yeah, you're taking notes.
Okay. Alright, let's look at this first example, guys. Okay? We have rectangle QRST with these vertices. What do we think our first step's gonna do? Gonna be
Wow.
plot this, right? Plot this shape, okay?
Yeah,
If
totally.
you need rulers today, please feel free to go grab a ruler or a straight edge over there, by the way, okay? Otherwise, you can use your phone, you can use a binder, you can use your notebook, you can use a piece of paper, lots of different things, okay? So we're gonna plot this. I'm trusting you to know how to plot, considering we've done that yesterday and also in previous years.
What if I didn't?
Ooh. I'll be calling you during study hall, I guess, and helping you plot.
Probably not.
Probably not. Oh, maybe.
Rob doesn't call people in. People come to Rob.
Okay.
This is a pretty whack shape. Why is mine different than yours?
Be careful how you plotted them.
Is that a positive? That's a positive one.
Why is this
Bro,
different?
I just did that too.
If yours isn't looking like mine, you probably plotted the point wrong. Okay?
Why don't you use the little line thing so you have straight lines?
You suggested that last year too.
Yeah, I know. I figured Rob was more of a open-minded person, which I guess remembering to show it all is totally untrue.
No.
Yeah. As I hope you gather from my facial expression how silly that was for you to think.
I was just hoping. It was a dream.
Let's get this over with.
Is your Q, R, S, and T the same place as mine?
Riley, make sure all of them are
I'll
positive information. I know, but it works. Come look at it.
Yeah. Really great. You keep learning. Learning's great. Oh. Well, you're kind of in the wrong building. Yeah.
Maggie, Betsy, you
What?
guys like read
Don't look at
really
it.
fine sometimes.
Yeah, looks all wonky.
Your Q is in the right spot. Q is article. Okay. So now we have this horizontal and vertical shift applied. We're taking our x comma y and we're doing what with the x?
Adding 5.
And we're doing what with the y?
Adding
all of
7.
Yes. So how far are we going to move this whole shape to the right?
5.
5. How far are we going to move it up?
7.
7. Okay? So here's how we get our new points. Here's how we get our new points, okay? And I'll do this in a different color just to make it pop, pizzazz a bit here, okay? Let's go with orange,
Purple.
okay?
No.
Purple, okay. So we're going to take our x coordinate and we're going to add 5 to it. So what's negative 6 plus 5?
Negative 1.
What's negative 3 plus 5? 2. What's 1 plus 5? 6. What is negative 2 plus 5? 3. Those are our new x values. Go through and do the y values, please. Hi, confusion. I'm Ron. Nice to meet you.
Why do you give us the hard ones?
Your hands are really
So, yes. Okay. So we had. I didn't write down spot for you. That's me. But you wrote down this, which came after it.
2.
Okay.
Oh, that just said it.
He's responding. You responded.
I did not sound like that.
Yes,
Thank you, Maggie. Appreciate it, Margaret. Okay.
That's an L.
I don't know. Listen.
Maggie.
Sort of, but just
Square root of negative 1.
Hey. Square root of negative 1.
Alright. Betsy, what's the y value for q prime?
6.
Okay. Simone, r prime?
8.
Try again. Oh, wait, no, 8, you're right. Botch. Okay. Justin, s prime?
Watch.
2. Yeah, botch means mistake. T prime, Rowan. 0. Okay. So now we plot these.
That was pretty easy, not gonna lie.
How do you feel that way?
I feel like kind of smart now.
That's good. The goal is that you always feel pretty smart.
If we don't put the prime on the test, is that wrong?
Yeah, because we need to make sure that we're saying it's not the same point anymore.
That seems just a little.
Okay. So hey, we just took this shape, moved the whole thing over, 5 to the right, 7 up. That's all it is. Like you just dragged it 5 across, 7 up. Kevin, keep your pencil on your desk. Okay. Good. Happy this is making sense. Okay. So we took our shape, moved it 5 to the right, 7 up. Now hey, it might be easier for you guys. Personally, personally, it's easiest for me to think of it the way I just taught you. Some of you might have it easier to go through here and say, okay, if I move S 5 to the right, 7 up, plot it. T 5 to the right, 7 up, plot it. R 5 to the right, 7 up, plot it. Q 5 to the right, 7 up, plot it. And then go through to the points. Maybe that's easier for you, okay? If so, do it that way. If it's easier for you to go from the graph first and then move everything, do that. If it's easier for you to go through and do the points first like we just did, and then plot them, do that. I want whichever one's easier for you though, okay? Because we think differently a lot of times, okay? We may not have the same preference on it. And this is somewhere in math to where you can go about it whichever one of the 2 ways you want. That's perfectly fine. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So hey, here on number 2, what do we notice? What kind of shift are we doing now? Are we going left or right on our x? Left. How do we know it's left? Negative. So we're going to be taking it less of a value, okay? So technically, because it's x comma y yields x plus h and then y plus k, what's technically our h here? Negative 3. H, excuse me, is technically negative 3. Because we're adding a negative 3, which you just see as minus 3. Does that make sense? Okay, because normally plus, so in this case h is negative 3. So we'll move left 3, and our k here is 8 meaning we're moving 8 up, okay? I want you guys to try number 2, okay? So try plotting the original, and then using your new one, okay, as well as putting our points down in coordinates. And hey, if you get that and you're done, I want you to raise your hand, okay? And if you are struggling or you have a question, I want you to raise your hand as well, okay?
I don't think I did it. Which one are we supposed to do?
Yes, please.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Do you need to be checked right
No. Oh, that's
So then I know the losses, right?
now? Okay, so let's look and see. Negative 1.7.
Whoa, whoa.
To the right.
I know Peyton is so mean. Hate is a strong word.
And I meant every second of it.
What if Riley were to like,
Ah,
You said
7
the
comma
last
negative 4.
Feel
That's
bad.
it, right.
No, I mean,
Four down. Which is that one? Okay, sorry.
oh my
4 comma
god,
negative 6,
Peyton.
that's one. 4 to the right, 6 down.
So that'd be your fine. That make sense?
Yeah, but you don't ask people to check.
Very good.
Mr. Cost,
Riley,
I'm
you
not
do the same
doing
thing. You'd be like, just like hospitalized. You'd be like, don't skip deep breaths.
One.
Maybe just make it bigger. Cause I obviously can't.
But hey, good work.
That's not me.
But those shapes look totally different.
Mr. Cost.
If you're done and haven't been checked yet, raise your hand. If you're done and haven't been checked yet, raise your hand.
These shapes are really different.
Kevin, you gonna go stretch there?
What?
You gonna go stretch there? Yeah, you wanna come check Rollins?
Yeah.
Take your shit with you.
Yes.
Going for a shape. Swag.
Very good.
I don't know what they do about your toss, so I do this. Why? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I want to again.
Riley, put the phone away. Kevin, keep your hands to yourself. Okay. Betsy, sit forward. Okay. Hey, Ms. Howgard is gonna teach us this one.
Oh god. Peyton.
Oh, should I not write these things
Oh, there's.
first then?
Do it how you would teach it.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, coordinate C. Wait, that's a coordinate, right?
Yeah.
Okay, coordinate C is 2, -1. So you go over 2 and then up 1. I don't like
Down
those
1.
Riley, good job.
I know. Catch that.
Over 2. See, I did that on purpose. And then the next one is 7, -4. So you go over 7 and down 4.
You should write the letters.
Okay, you know what? We'll get there. And then the next one is over 4, down 6. Cool? And then that's an E. And then you connect them like so. And then you take 2 minus 3. So then that would be -1. And then you take 7 minus 3, that would be 4. And then you take 4 minus 3, that would be 1. And then you take 1 plus 8 is 7. And then -4 plus 8 is 4. And then 8 plus -6 plus 8 is 2.
2.
Hey. Talking pen. Alright. And then you graph them, so -1 and 7, so -1 up 7. Ms. Algard, what? Kevin has a question. What, Kevin? Maybe he doesn't. He had his hand raised. But
Oh, I do. You said that 1 plus 8 equals 7.
Huh?
You said 1 plus 8 equals 7.
It's a negative 1.
Oh. Well, you said 1, not negative 1. Sorry, continue.
My apologies. Negative 1 plus 8 is equal to 7.
Okay, thank you.
You know what? Thank God Payne is not our actual teacher.
No, exhibit A. Okay, and then you take 4 and then 4, so you go down, you go over 4, and then you go up 4, and then you put that there, and that's D. Prime. Remember they're prime. But no, it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, look, D. Good job, Rachel.
Don't forget the prime.
I put the prime.
She put the prime
Maybe we
on.
didn't say it.
Okay.
Lose
I have
the
been talking.
grade in.
1 and then over 2, so then you go over 1 and then up 2, and that's E prime. And then you connect the and then that's the triangle and that's the triangle and then that's
Good. Very good, Ms. Algard. Slap on the back. Okay. I hope so.
Could you keep that color? I'm kind of digging it.
Okay.
Change it.
Alright, questions on that one, guys? Hey, do you feel like, yes, James Michael Stevens?
We have to color it in.
No, we normally don't color it in. Ms. Algard just wanted to be a little extra.
Yeah, I didn't know how much of a good
Um,
teacher you were.
We're actually gonna move past 3, 4, 5, and 6 for now, okay? So, okay. Hey, so on number 7, we're gonna flip the page. We're looking at number 7 now, okay? I feel like you guys got the hang of those first couple pretty well, okay? Calm yourself.
Yes.
Okay, take 20 deep breaths, 30 chill pills, get back to me, okay? So number 7, write a rule describing the translation below, okay? So just like how we had our rules on the previous page, we organize them as x comma y yields x plus h comma y plus k. Have a great day. Okay, so organize them as x comma y yields x plus h comma y plus k. Okay, so
Sorry. You left. You didn't hear it.
What did you say?
it's so rude.
Jocelyn said it like
She-
so
She,
What was she in here?
she's like,
She was actually watching you. So
yeah, she
So
was watching
she was
Mr.
watching
Fossil to
you
see how
just
brave
lean back
she
in the
was.
chair.
She was in my first hour too.
yeah. Okay,
She was not in my first hour.
so how do we go from regular triangle DEF to the new one D prime E prime F prime? Okay, we have to describe this. Okay, Sarah.
X plus 7, Y plus 4.
X
You're
comma
so
y
smart.
yields x plus 7 comma y plus 4. I agree, because if we look at all of our x's, they went over to the right 7.
Mr. Crosswell,
If we don't put the X, Y.
What'd you say, Peyton?
do we have to put the X, Y?
Yes, we have to write it in that notation. Yep. That's our universal notation for this, saying, hey, x comma y, our original x comma y, we then get out x plus 7 comma y plus 7. It's similar to a function notation, okay? How we have like f of x equals, okay? It's very similar to that back from algebra 1. Okay? Questions on that one?
Why do we do
Okay.
algebra, geometry, algebra? Why does it go like that?
Yeah, because algebra 2 requires a lot of what do you mean? Algebra 2 requires algebra 1 obviously. Geometry also requires algebra 1. So they both require algebra 1. Okay? And the thing is though, is pre-calc slash trigonometry, the one that follows algebra 2, requires both algebra 2 and geometry, okay? Now,
Don't we do some
typically here's the thing, if you go straight from like pre-calc, or you go straight from geometry into pre-calc, into like, you go like algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, pre-calc, then like, your algebra skills are going to be really, really, really rusty that you need for pre-calc. Whereas if you stagger them off of it, your algebra skills are going to be fresher for pre-calc.
I'm so excited for
Don't we do some trigonometry and algebra too though too?
There's like a right triangle trigonometry
Mr.
unit
Costle.
in here.
Well, my
That would be, you're on track to take that.
Only you have to.
or you could
No.
you can go
It's-
Google us.
We need 4 years of English and 3 years of math.
3 years in there, okay? Hey, so we went from, reminder guys, did we go from the prime to the original or the original to the prime? Original to 2-day free delivery, right? Okay,
Yeah.
Prime. Okay, Amazon Prime, get it? Okay. All you guys do number 8 on your own.
I love Amazon.
Number 8 on your own. When you have it or have questions, raise your hand. When you have it or have questions, raise your hand.
I have a question on this one.
Okay?
I have
No,
a
you're
question.
That's a no?
I disagree with you.
Pretty sure that's a yes.
Okay, I disagree with you.
Did I forget something that you did?
Oh no, that's prime.
4. That's a yes.
What? Wait, what'd you do?
I'll check.
Oh man.
I agree. You want to check? I agree with you. Want to check?
Yeah.
Dang.
Oh!
Yeah.
I gotta let.
That's what I assumed you did.
Okay, I'm right now.
Oh man. Oh,
I right now I'm wrong.
What?
So yesterday I did a 4-man push-up. That was the worst idea I've ever done. Wait, you did that yesterday? 4-man push-up? And our So basically, you have 4 people, and they're all like this. One of the person that's trying to do their back and you have to bring your. That was awesome. We were all doing this, so like.
So you like lay on top of each other and then stand like.
Hey, guys, I have a question.
It's like,
You guys ever like this one stuff?
it's overlapping, it sucks.
Not front.
Like
Can I-
Goes from original to prime.
The
Like,
format
can't get
push-up.
it out.
Have you done it?
2, 3, 4.
Wait, so you're all
Some
like.
people
Yeah,
have
so everything's stuck still. And then, so,
Let's
winter
go and sit
dipped.
back down. Let's go and sit back down. Okay.
Winter dipped, so then I was
Hey
in,
Betsy, I'm gonna have you write the rule here, okay?
3 other dudes.
Because I want to see your watch.
And then I did do Colonel did it. Mr. Cockle. You should try doing a 4-man push-up.
I don't know what that is.
So, you have,
Oh, there's probably never enough. Here, I got it. Okay? I see.
You write smaller.
Whoa. Yo, that's like.
You need to
Puzzle.
Hey, you're not feeling the purple? Sorry.
I'm feeling the purple.
Yeah, because you're fake. Rat.
Don't care.
Forever a negative
I
one.
would call you other names, Mr. Causal sitting right there. I'm just kidding.
It's Ron.
Ron's sitting right there. I don't really like first name basis, so we're gonna call him Mr.
Betsy,
Swan.
Swan.
Very good, okay? X, y yields x minus 4, y plus 2. A lot of us I saw originally had plus 4 minus 2. We gotta be careful. We're going from the originals to the primes, okay? We gotta be careful with that, okay? Questions on that?
Those are sensitive.
Okay. So now we're gonna look at example 9 here. Example 9 here, okay? Actually, let me see. Let me fix Betsy's y's here.
Oh my god.
Try it together. Betsy makes it look better. Yeah, she does. Thank you.
Oh.
Okay.
I
Legit, like I do that on like Betsy's papers and tests all the time. I did it all last year too. Just do it like all the time. Just go crazy with it. Cracks me up. I don't know if he finds it very funny, but it cracks me up, and that's what matters.
Yeah, we can tell.
So, yeah.
It bothers my.
Wait, no, why'd you say anything?
Sorry. Let me do it a different way.
No.
With a different color.
Yeah.
Yes. When they're gone.
Yeah.
you didn't tie them together.
He's getting there.
Yeah, buddy.
That's
Is that better, really?
It looks like a telephone. Wait. It looks like a telephone. Did you see it? It looks like a telephone.
I can see
I
that.
probably should.
Promise.
Is
Yeah.
it done? Anybody? Yeah, it's gone. It's
Oh
gone.
yeah, it's gonna go.
Liar.
That's close.
That was close. It
Yeah.
has to be more natural though.
You know,
Oh, it'll never be natural. Okay. So anyway,
Whoa,
so
blue. Thank you very much.
Yellow.
No.
triangle X, Y, Z.
Green.
Okay, we're gonna graph this, guys. We're gonna start off with graphing this just like we have every
Spell
time.
that, Brennan.
Oh, that's rude.
That's still wrong. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Slap me too.
But you said thank you and you accepted it, so I took it.
So you took advantage of me.
Yes.
As my
Don't
dad
take
says,
it. Don't take it that way.
you take advantage of my good nature. My dad says.
Well,
Wait a minute. Your
Yeah.
dad says that to you?
like when he tells me to take $20 out of his wallet and I take 40. And then I tell him about it and he goes, "Do you think I abandoned my good nature?" And I just go and pay it and I'm like, "Sorry, Dad, but
He's like,
you,
"That's okay, that's
I
okay,
do
that's
that too.
okay." Hey, we're asked to do a couple
I
different
just
things
took a
here.
card.
We're asked to have multiple transformations. So we have them in a certain order. Which one are we going to do first, A or B? A. So we first have to reflect it over the x-axis.
Why is there 3 different triangles?
Okay? Here's what's going to happen, okay? Here's what's going to happen. What I like to do personally is I like okay? What I like to do personally is I like to do, for each of my 3 points, I like to make kind of like an in-between step, okay? Because that helps me keep my head straight. Otherwise I'm like, I don't want to do it, okay? So we first have to reflect it over the x-axis. Reflect it over the x-axis, are we going this way or this way? This way. So what's changing, the x or the y's?
X.
The y's.
Chicken.
My fingers are going up and down. They're not going left to right. Okay? The y's are changing. So the x's all stay the same. So we still have -3, -2, and -5. What's changing with my y's if we reflect it over the x-axis? Become negative.
Nope, you're wrong.
Probably not. Okay?
You don't have a dispenser?
So that's our in-between step.
What was alpha?
Okay? That's our in-between step. And what I think is wise is to graph it with dashed lines. I think it's wise to graph this one with dashed lines. We'll look at this.
Or you could just pop them in the not
It's
wrong
sour.
way.
Okay?
It is not sour, silly goose.
I need to change one.
That way we don't confuse that as one of our final answers is dash, so we only see it as an in-between step.
How are we? That's literally what we've done already. Like I'm confused. I thought we were doing the over and then up thing.
We are. But we did the reflect. This time we're doing a reflection and a translation.
Yeah,
We
I
have to
don't
do the
like that.
reflection first. That's too bad. Okay. Now we're gonna do the translation. Okay. So now that we have our reflection, we can do our translation. Once again, picture if you're more oriented to do the graph, then the coordinates or the coordinates in the graph. I really don't care. I just want you to do whatever works best for you. Okay. Not to say I don't care. I'm just saying whatever your preference is fine by me. Okay. So now, how are we translating it after we reflected it?
Add 9.
Add 9 to the x.
So it's
2 up. So we're taking a 9 to the right, 2 up.
Wait.
So -3 becomes -2 becomes -5 becomes. What was your question?
Okay, so you have to. What do you have to do to it first?
We reflected it over the x-axis first, like we would have on our homework that we turned in today.
So then you like do it that whole this
So I
thing
wrote-
up here
I wrote
to
some
the
like
bottom one.
yeah, you reflected it over the x-axis.
They're not negative.
Wow. No.
I'm confused.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Yes.
Hey, what are you confused? Are you confused about the yellow or the pink or the blue?
No, you changed them all to negative. Like, is that because of the dotted one?
Yes, yep.
So you go based off of the dotted one.
Yes, yep, because we're going off based off the reflection. We reflected it, now we're moving it. So we're moving the reflection. We're not moving the original, we're moving the reflection.
That makes sense.
Okay? So now we have to add 2 to the y's. So what's -7 plus 2, Jocelyn? Amber, what's -1 plus 2?
Negative 1 plus 2.
1.
Could you plot
Alyssa, what's -2 plus 2? 0. Now we can plot these points as our final image.
So we have to
6, -5. So going to be our x prime.
I actually understand it.
7, 1, go. Is our y prime. And 4, 0
Where did you find that?
is our z prime.
My mom got it for me. For Halloween, it just gave me $20.
I wish my mom would give it to me.
Yo, 3,300 days on the drive, handing out.
Okay, voices off, please and thank you. Class, voices back off, please and thank you.
They were just admiring my pig lollipop.
Okay, cool. Hey, so
Don't
Peppa, okay. Hey, so we first reflected it, then we moved our reflection. Okay? So we reflected it, we wrote that kind of like scratch work off the side. Then we worked off of this scratch work and said, okay, from here, now we have our translation, okay? In the picture, it looks like this way. This is our scratch work with our dashed lines, and then we have our final answer in our light blue. Yes.
I did big dumb. I grabbed the original wrong.
Ooh.
We just
So
colored
then
it.
everything's wrong.
Mr.
That's a
Coffee,
big move. What was that?
we just colored in.
If you really want to, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't suggest it though, because some of these might overlap.
Graph is wrong.
But then you have like a pretty color in between. You know what I mean?
Okay. Questions on that?
Whoa.
Okay. So this is just really combining two different steps, right?
Yeah.
Is it any real new math besides what we learned earlier today? No, we're just combining a couple steps. We're combining what we did yesterday with what we're doing today. Okay? Not today. Okay?
I don't know.
So this number 10, we do the very similar thing. We deflect it over the line, y equals x, and then you translate it 3 left, 7 down. I feel like we could handle that. You guys feel like you could handle that?
No.
I feel like you guys can handle that. Rowan.
Ah.
Would A and B both be like in between steps and then C would be like the final?
Yeah. So Rowan's asking, hey, Mr. Costle, if we had like 3 different things to do, if we were reflecting it, translating it, and then something we're going to learn later, would we have like 3 different steps? Yeah, we would. And then A and B would both be like in between steps. Yeah. Good question. Rachel. Y equals x is this way. It's uphill. Okay? Yes, Alyssa.
Can you ever translate what you reflected?
Yeah, and we're actually going to look at that number 11. It's a great question. Perfect segue. Thank you.
Oh.
So, number 11, we're going to look at
What is this say?
doing, actually, let's do number 11.
Costle.
Okay? What?
What's a segue?
No, we're going to do 11. We can do 10 and 11, or just
No,
11.
we can just do it.
So, 11. Grab rectangle LMNP. So let's grab this rectangle to start with, please. Thank you.
Are we not
What?
ready for this?
Correct.
Paul Clark. What the trash? Mom top. Okay.
I love Paul. Okay.
I don't-
You should have.
They don't know what segues are, so
I
I'll let
know
you.
what a segue is.
Okay,
Oh,
Taylor
know what
doesn't know what
segue
a
is.
segue is.
You should continue talking third person.
Well, colloquially, how I said it, like, that was like a nice transition.
Well, you could have said that and made me less confused.
I mean, it is what I said, just using a different word because it's the same thing.
It's a. Oh.
I apparently a segue is a car and not.
It's not a car.
It's already over the y-axis.
Yes.
Are we supposed to like reflect on top?
So the y-axis is which axis, guys?
This one.
This way, okay? So that's what I end up reflecting. But what are we doing before we reflect it?
Move it.
We first move it, we first translate it, we shift it, okay? Where are we shifting this?
Over there. Downward, upward.
Flip it.
This side
To the
changes
right
down.
and down. To the right, how many?
6.
To the down, how many?
8.
8, okay? Please go ahead and do the translation, okay? Hold up on the reflection, go ahead and do the translation.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
Oh no. Spreading on my fleas. Everybody's like, I'm like,
What?
Randy.
I mean, thank you for censoring Bless Us Not. Did you do that?
You know the actual lyrics?
No. I don't know what song you're doing.
Good stuff. I think you want to know.
I don't really know. Sounds garbage.
I can't even say the name.
Wait, so does this one actually dash to
Why?
Are you?
What is that?
It's a what? Oh, SK.
That's
Different.
Different thing. That was a different thing.
Sorry.
Do you know who Del
You didn't know what to say.
Oh.
Everything you
Please. I don't know what you're doing with now. That's automatically how I don't like it.
Wait, and am I supposed to reflect over the y-axis?
We will do that next, okay? Hey Simone, so P P becomes what, or L becomes what? Our first dash.
4?
Or -1. Okay. Sarah, what's M can become for our dash?
Oh, 2, 3. No. I just did 8, -1, 5.
-5. Okay. Evan, what's N become? It started out as 0, 1. We're moving 6 to the right, 8 down.
Yes, it has become 6, 7, 6 negative 7.
Very good, 6 -7. Okay. And then Carly, what's P become? Very good. Okay.
Are we gonna do the last one?
Okay. So that was our dash, that was our in-between step, right? That was our translation. Check, we did our translation. Now what do we have to do before we're done?
Reflected.
We have to reflect it over what?
Why?
The y-axis. Now remind me, which way is the y-axis? Show me with your hands.
Oh.
It goes up and down, okay? So if we're reflecting over the y-axis, show me with your hands what action that would look like. Reflecting over the y-axis would look like this. Very good. So what's moving? Are your x's moving or your y's moving? X's are moving. So the y's will stay the same. What happens with the x's then? They become the opposite of what they are. They become the negative of what they are. So -4, -8, -6, -2. And we plot these.
My mind was blown.
Can we be done for like the day?
Bet?
That's 12 is the last one. And I don't want to do it. And we're not the next 20 minutes.
Questions on that one, guys? Alyssa,
Seems like we're good.
do I have what?
You have to write this stuff in order to skip over writing that stuff.
You don't have to write the stuff in orange. That's kind of like not showing any of your work. So if
Well, like
you
if we drew it on the graph, then you can write down the.
get, yeah, okay. So hey, let's ask you a question, Mr. Kossel. Could we basically do one of these? The answer would be yes. Okay, if you wanted to, you could do one of the orange, not the other. So if you wanted to do the graph, that helps you more. If you want to do this, that helps you more. Do one. If you wanted to do one or the other, not both, I'd be okay with that. Okay. Because once again, you run the risk of it showing a little less work. Sometimes you might not get partial points if it's wrong. Okay. But you're welcome to not show me that one of those if you don't want to. Okay, Sarah.
Might he ever like have to figure out for each point the reward or whatever, like how much it moves?
Like after we do all of this?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we do that here.
Okay.
Taylor.
Have you ever realized that you have more deaths than what your thing shows?
On some of the scene charts, but not all. 'Cause I had to add in a desk on like one of my scene charts.
Yeah, we were doing it yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Mr. Costello's left the last.
No.
Yeah, so I was working with Matthew's tech and I really thought I was working with Jacob's tech and I was like.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass on our homework now.
You
You could like not.
Okay, I'll pass it out in 20 minutes.
Ron wouldn't give out any homework.
I don't think that's true.
He would do.
Ron would just give out a claymore.
He thinks the public education system is already stupid enough. He wouldn't even be.
Yeah, he did that.
I would love to.
He doesn't know about that.
I need to go get this signed and Mr. Allen,
He
give it to
shows it
my
off.
advisor.
But he comes up with 500 So as
No. I'm sorry. Stop.
Oh, poor dude.
Guys, look at these dogs.
cough on it.
It's my girlfriend's sister's dog.
So that got
So
Hey, so we have next 18 minutes, 18.5 minutes to work on this, okay? You guys may listen to music as we go through this, okay? You guys may listen to music, okay? Feel free to do that. Someone to be a distraction to you, okay? I'm gonna play music, and I do take song requests, okay?
Frozen.
Spooky
no,
Scary
I-
Skeletons,
no.
first one, do it.
I'm okay with that one. I'm not okay with
Mr.
that.
Fossil,
Frozen or High School Musical.
No.
I have a really big
Play Here
favorite
Comes
act.
Santa Claus, like the trap remix version.
No, Chris.
So when I come in for study hall,
Yes.
can I bring my frat bros? Can we move these desks so we can take a photo in front of the American flag?
Spooky Scary
Can you
Skeletons.
do it like right after school instead?
Huh?
Can you do it like right after school instead?
Sure.